Welcome to the darker side of history. You wake up disoriented in a cold, damp chamber, the stone walls closing in, the faint drip of water echoing like the ticking of a morbid clock. The stale air tastes of mold and decay, and somewhere nearby, muffled voices whisper of treason and doom. Your heart pounds with the heavy weight of betrayal, your skin prickling with the chill of impending doom. You might flinch. That's the point. If this kind of raw historical storytelling moves you, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. No fluff, just facts and fear. Tell me where you're watching from, especially if you're alone tonight. Now, brace yourself. Let's walk into the shadows. You are King Edward II of England, once ruler of a proud realm, now a prisoner stripped of power and dignity. It is January 1327, but your reign effectively ended months ago, crushed under the iron fist of your own queen and a cabal of nobles who once swore loyalty to you. You are no longer the monarch, but a man hunted by ghosts of his failures and the sinister hands of those who seek to erase your existence. Your rule was marked by favoritism and scandal. Your close ties to men like Piers Gaveston and later Hugh Despenser the Younger fueled whispers of betrayal. These alliances alienated many of your nobles, sowing the seeds for your undoing. You remember the bloody Battle of Boroughbridge in March 1322, where your forces were defeated and your enemies gained the upper hand. After years of tension, the Queen, Isabella of France, once your partner in rule, now your relentless adversary, conspired with Roger Mortimer to depose you. She arrived in England with a small army, the rumors whispering of a lover's betrayal, and cold ambition wrapped in royal vengeance. By late 1326, you fled westwards, but your escape was futile. Captured near Llantrisant in Wales, your guards wrestled you into chains, sealing your fate. You are dragged back, a broken man, stripped of the symbols of kingship, the crown and scepter now distant memories. The path from king to prisoner was paved with political intrigue and ruthless scheming. Your enemies justified their actions by portraying you as an incompetent tyrant, a danger to England's fragile peace. Yet, behind closed doors, the truth is murkier. Some chroniclers of the time hint at your emotional fragility, the crushing weight of loneliness, and the fear that crept into your nights. You find yourself confined within Berkeley Castle, under the watch of men whose loyalty is as brittle as the stone walls that imprison you. The torchlight flickers ominously, shadows dancing with menace as you contemplate what comes next. Historians still debate the exact circumstances surrounding your capture and imprisonment. Some argue you were betrayed by your own household, others that you were deliberately handed over by allies seeking favor with the new regime. The politics of the era are tangled webs, the truth obscured by propaganda and fear. What is clear is that you have been reduced from monarch to captive, a ghost in your own kingdom. The sound of iron shackles clinking around your wrists is a brutal reminder. Your days of power are over, and a nightmare has only just begun. In this dark chapter, a bizarre detail lingers in the shadows of history. Reports of mysterious, secret chambers within Berkeley Castle, said to be designed for torturing prisoners in ways that defy comprehension. Some whisper of subterranean vaults where screams vanish into stone, where light dies and sanity fractures. Whether these chambers existed or are the invention of fearful minds, they serve as chilling symbols of your fate. The castle is not just a prison. It is a crucible for horror, a place where your end will be forged. You can almost taste the metallic tang of fear mixed with the stale dungeon air. The cold seeps into your bones, the endless darkness wrapping around you like a suffocating shroud. This is no ordinary imprisonment. It is a descent into a void where hope is stripped away piece by piece. The outside world continues unaware. The court filled with whispers of your abdication, and your son, Edward III, crowned in your place. But you remain here, in the bowels of Berkeley Castle, caught in the grinding gears of history's cruelty. In the silence, you hear the distant clatter of keys, footsteps heavy with intent. Your captors are preparing for what comes next. The shadow of death creeps closer, not with the mercy of a swift blade, but with the slow, torturous cruelty that will echo through centuries as a dark legend. The nightmare death of King Edward II is far more horrific than you can ever imagine. The chill of Berkeley Castle's dungeon wraps around you like a suffocating fog. You stumble through a narrow corridor, the walls slick with centuries of damp, the rough stone pressing cold and unforgiving against your skin. Your breath clouds in the stale air, thick with the mingled odors of sweat, rot, and the faint but unmistakable stench of old blood. Somewhere far above, torches sputter against the cold draft, casting grotesque shadows that flicker and twist, like specters on the walls. The echoes of your footsteps are swallowed by the oppressive silence, broken only by distant, indistinct noises, perhaps the groans of other prisoners, or the grinding of unseen machinery. This is not a mere cell. This is a chamber of horror designed to break a man's body and mind. You are led deeper into the heart of the castle, to a place historians still debate. The notorious torture chamber said to have been prepared for you. The existence of such a room is steeped in mystery and rumor. Some chroniclers of the time insist it was a simple dungeon, bleak and cold, but not specially equipped for torment. Others, however, whisper of sinister contraptions, cages, and devices so cruel they challenge belief. The stories tell of iron rings embedded in the walls for binding limbs, cruel racks that could stretch flesh and snap bones, and devices that could inflict pain without leaving obvious marks. Tools meant to prolong agony, to make each second a descent into madness. The air grows heavier, thick with the acrid bite of burning pitch and the sour tang of fear. You can almost hear the faint scrape of metal on stone, the clinking of chains, the tightening of shackles. The idea alone gnaws at your sanity. Not a swift death, but slow, relentless torment. Some fringe accounts even speak of heated implements, instruments glowing red-hot, ready to sear flesh and spirit alike. These tales, though possibly exaggerated by fearful imaginations, have clung to your story through the centuries, giving your death a nightmarish aura unmatched in royal history. Inside this chamber, the lines between fact and legend blur. What historians do agree on is the horrific psychological weight the place imposed. You are not just a prisoner. You are a spectacle of powerlessness, your captors eager to remind you of your utter defeat. The guards move with cold efficiency, their faces masks of indifference or cruelty, their hands rough and unyielding as they tighten the bonds that hold you. Your body aches not just from wounds, but from the suffocating sense of isolation and impending doom. One strange detail surfaces in some accounts, a mysterious man-trap cage, a small iron cage barely large enough to stand in, designed to crush or suffocate its occupants slowly. Whether this device was real or a metaphor for your confinement remains a question historians argue over fiercely. Such a cage would symbolize the ultimate degradation. A king reduced to a trapped animal, stripped of dignity and hope. You feel that symbolism acutely as you are pushed further into the darkness. The atmosphere in the dungeon is suffocating. You taste the bitter tang of despair mingled with the iron scent of your own blood from old wounds. Your skin crawls with the awareness of unseen eyes and the anticipation of suffering that might soon come. The sounds of distant chains and muffled cries form a haunting chorus, each note a reminder that you are not alone in this abyss, but that your fate is uniquely grim. Your body, once regal and strong, is now weak and vulnerable, a prisoner of stone, shadow, and merciless human hands. Historians still debate whether the castle's torture devices were ever used on you, or merely served as a threat to enforce obedience. Some suggest that your captors intended to frighten rather than physically harm, to maintain control through fear rather than brutality. Yet other scholars argue that the whispered stories of your slow, agonizing death by torturous means hold disturbing kernels of truth, supported by chroniclers who hint